My name is Raina Giddings. I'm the Senior Director of Investor Relations for the Metro Hartford Alliance. In 2020, I was appointed by the CEO to lead the Racial Equity and Economic Development Committee, formed in collaboration with our business and community leaders to provide education and support to the business community and implement equitable opportunities that strengthen and elevate our businesses and community partnerships in the greater Hartford region. To date, great strides have been taken in the state of Connecticut to overcome systemic barriers and close gender and racial gaps. While many of these efforts have been accomplished, we must continue to progress. This presentation and research analyzes equity today, including taxes, real estate, education, wages, and economic opportunities across the greater Hartford region. In particular, we'll focus on the city of Hartford and the town of West Hartford. Upon closer examination of this data, we found significant racial disparities in many of these categories. The full report will be made available soon, but today I'll just highlight a few key data points. As you can see, our state's reputation is leading the way in education and economic growth opportunities. These statistics paint a stellar picture of the quality of life, including education, employment, and economic opportunities. However, a deeper dive into the numbers reveal more concerning figures regarding opportunities for people of color. The reality is, for all of the impressive information that we have about living in the greater Hartford area, when isolated on a town-by-town data basis, vast disparities are revealed. As we begin to explore wealth disparities, this slide demonstrates that the average median income in the greater Hartford area does not correlate with the true reality of the average income within individual towns. The wealth disparities vary greatly town by town. For example, the city of Hartford represents the lowest average income, whereas the town of Avon reflects 4 times as much. The wealth disparities can even vary within the city of Hartford, but that slide is not shown today. Here, we'll look at the education disparity rates by race. Educational funding varies greatly within the greater Hartford County, specifically when noting the discrepancies between the cities and the towns. We can then look to the student population breakdown to see the stark differences and how this affects the future employment data within the greater Hartford region. Lower funding directly contributes to higher suspension rates and a greater likelihood of students not attaining higher education within their lifetime, which directly impacts future employment opportunities and achievable wealth standards. We also see in the education spending data, it's a tale of two Hartfords, which stems from the public education system and its direct impact on employment, health, and incarceration rates data later in life. The bottom line here is that wealthier West Hartford is spending more per capita than less affluent Hartford, and the reduction directly impacts educational outcomes and opportunities. There are other data points that show similar disparities in employment, wages, small businesses, and real estate. For the sake of time, these topics will be discussed further in the report. In terms of recent federal and state employment law changes, the Crown Act legislation makes it illegal to discriminate against people of color based on their hairstyles. The Wage Discrimination Act bans paying women less for the same work as men. There's also a salary range transparency legislation, Women make 73 cents for every dollar paid to white men. Women of color make even less. This law is designed to lessen the impact of discrimination. And finally, Connecticut is making strides to implement a gradual hike in the minimum wage, which takes the state closer to providing a fair living wage for all employees. Last but not least, there was a TIA study that revealed that women retire with 30% less savings. So Connecticut designed a mandatory savings plan in an effort to support women and savings. All of these laws address some of the bias and outright discrimination and allow better pay for all workers. Yet we still have a long way to go before we can close the racial wealth gap. As I begin to consider some of the next steps that can be taken to address some of these issues, I've outlined some of these key areas below. First, the goal would be to publish a full report of these data points in partnership with UConn, who actually helped interpret some of this data. We will then share a draft with the Read Committee and some other stakeholders before it goes public. And then once it's finalized, the goal is to really convene several listening sessions to explore collectively how we can strengthen our partnerships, expand our partnerships for the benefit of the community. And with that, I'll close. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My contact information is listed below. Take care.